It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to a special time for Monday travel and cruise industry news on this, the 28th day of November, 2022, coming to you from Central Virginia in Bedford County, right outside of Lynchburg. There's not a whole lot in the news this morning, folks. We are going to talk about a Cunard ship missing a port and why. Wonder of the seas in the news for several things. And travel woes with the airlines once again. And more here at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, special time this morning due to medical situation with me. I've got to be at an appointment that I could not, if I missed the appointment today at 11:40, and it takes me 30 minutes to get there. I couldn't see the doctor until like April or something ridiculous. So today is Cyber Monday. And it's also National French Toast Day. Not that I want you to buy French toast online, but you could have French toast for breakfast or, French toast for lunch. Or celebrate French toast somehow. You could probably have it for dinner, I imagine. And it is Cyber Monday, which there's all kinds of craziness going on in our industry. This morning, I saw some cruises online as low as $29 per day. If you're looking to book some cruises, you might want to take a look at that. If you are listening via the podcast, as always, you're welcome here. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. All the big guys to search for travel and cruise industry news, and up pops the fat travel guy. At any time when you're listening to the podcast, if you'd like to hop over to check out pictures or clips that I'll be using like I will be today, you can always check in the description to the podcast, and there'll be a link to access the video feed, and you can just hop over, check out the video feed, and hop right back to your podcast. All right, today's show, of course, is live at 10 o'clock my time. That's Eastern Standard Time. And it will be up for replay by 11 o'clock. So if you I've been at 11 o'clock, you're looking for travel and cruise industry news, it'll be up. Hopefully the podcast will be up as well. I do have several announcements this morning, folks. The first of which is dealing with Thursday. Thursday is a travel day for me. And I have to start the day off at 8 o'clock with 3 hours in the periodontist chair. When I get out of the periodontist about 11, I'm getting in the car and taking off for Fort Lauderdale. The problem with that is I have to get to Orangeburg, South Carolina by Thursday evening, and I'll be leaving approximately 5 hours later than I would normally leave. So I am going to do this show Thursday morning, live, probably about 6:30. So if you don't want to get up that early, which I know most of you don't, you can just go to the, send links out to everybody that you can get to the show, and it'll be up I'll do it live so that you can access it immediately to catch up. So it'll be a live show somewhere in the vicinity of 6:30. I'm not totally promising on the time, just as long as I can get out of here by 20 minutes to 8 or so to get to the dentist by 8 o'clock. The second announcement for Thursday is dealing with Cruise Amigos. Again, and this is multifaceted problems. John has a full day scheduled on Thursday. I have this travel day going on, and I'm just not going to have time to stop somewhere and take another hour and 15, 20 minutes to do a show out of the travel time that I'm already going to be pushing to catch up. Martin, who's occasionally has not made the Cruise Amigos, is the only one that was clear and wanted to do a show this week. Anyway, because John and I both have conflicts that day, we've decided to cancel Cruise Amigos this Thursday. I will announce that every day. So Thursday's Cruise Amigos is canceled till the following week. And this show will be live somewhere around 6:30 in the morning. If you are watching via Twitter, I have asked all of my Twitter followers to please jump over to YouTube, search for Chillie's Cruises. That's CHILLIE''S. Chillie's Cruises, plural, on YouTube, and subscribe. In case anything weird happens with Twitter, it gets shut down, whatever. I don't want that segment of my audience to not be able to access this show to stay up with the latest in travel and cruise industry news. So that way you've got it covered just in case something untoward happens with Twitter. My next three cruises, which of course are a new Stottendam from Fort Lauderdale and MSC Seascape from Miami, and January 29th Vloggers Cruise, which is the Norwegian breakaway out of New Orleans. All three of those shows, those cruises, will be partially sponsored by Will, the next generation power wheelchair and personal mobility device folks out of San Mateo, California. They're also the parent company of Scooter Rounds. And they are basically folks, I will be an ambassador for the companies and for that, and some commercial messages along the way. I will get a free scooter for those three cruises. Being as open and honest as I can be about that. Now that gets me to the final thing for today, and I've got a story to tell folks. As of yesterday, I have removed Expedia from my blog, and I will no longer ever recommend Expedia to any of you guys. And I'm going to tell you why. Those of you that have followed along pretty closely know that Hot Air Tom wanted me to fly from Richmond on the New Orleans cruise. He had also set up some hotels for me for that, as he's done on numerous occasions, which I certainly appreciate. After I booked the Breeze Air's flight from Richmond, I got a notice from Expedia saying that I had a airline credit that was getting ready to expire, that I needed to use it up before the end of January. So I did some checking real quick and pulled up flights and found out that if I fly from DC instead of Richmond, that I could take my credit, and I'd end up flying for next to nothing. So I booked the flight with Expedia, and I canceled the flight on Breeze Airways out of Richmond. One of the things when I did the booking online, and I have booked all of my flights through Expedia for years, since back when I first discovered that the travel agents no longer made any commission from airlines. I started booking it myself since it wasn't cutting money off of a travel agent. And it would take up time that, they could spend to more profitable things instead of dealing with my airline tickets. So I started booking my own air. One of the things when I booked the flight, the round trip from Washington Dulles to New Orleans, is that it said that I had to, and the credit was with United. So I had to book United flights, of course, to get the credit. It said that I had to contact United to get seat assignments. I didn't remember that ever happening before, but it might have. I don't know. But now, as the issues I've had with flying, it's more important for me to be able to book an aisle seat on the right side of the plane. Okay. That would be the starboard side of the plane if you're looking at a boat, because it's my left knee and hip that give me the most trouble. That I would have at least a little bit of space in the aisle to stretch the leg out. So I want to say it was Wednesday afternoon, I contacted United to see about booking my seats. And they said, well, we need the 6-digit confirmation code. So I went back to the receipt from Expedia. There's no 6-digit confirmation code on it. The confirmation code's about 17 numbers long. So I call Expedia back and I go through, all the harangue to get a live person on the line, which took a while. And finally, I get this guy on the line and he says, okay, what's your confirmation number? So I pulled up their receipt and I read off this long number to him. That's the confirmation number. And he says, that shows that you're flying from Raleigh to Houston. I said, no, that's incorrect. I'm flying from Dulles to New Orleans. Well, that's not what that confirmation number shows. I said, well, I don't care. That confirmation number is off of the receipt you people sent me. And it says Dulles to New Orleans. This goes on for an hour and a half. And finally, it was time that I had to leave to go for that was Thursdays when it happened, because I had to leave to go to Thanksgiving dinner that I was meeting everybody for. The 4 of us that were eating at Thanksgiving dinner. So the guy says, well, I think I've gotten this fixed, but give it a couple days to make sure. And I'm thinking, give it a couple days? That makes no sense to me, but I had to leave. So I left it at that. So on Saturday morning, I contacted Expedia again, and I said, okay, I went through an hour and a half with you people, and I got some ridiculous thing that I'm flying from uh, Raleigh to Houston with the confirmation number. I want to make sure that the guy I talked to on Thursday fixed it so I can get the code I need so I can book my seats with United. So they said, okay, what's your confirmation number? So I pulled the thing off. Oh, and by the way, I'd also, the guy on Thursday, I had to give him a screenshot of the receipt. He didn't believe me. Okay, that was done then. So I give them the read off the confirmation number again, and they said, "Well, this shows you're flying from Raleigh to." I said, "No, I'm not flying from Raleigh. I'm flying from Dulles to New Orleans." Well, that's not possible. I said, "Well, yes, it is. That's the receipt you people send me, and I sent you a screenshot showing that on Thursday. So you've got that in your should be in your files." Well, I don't show that at all. So you did something wrong. I said, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I've got the receipt from you people showing that I purchased the plane tickets round trip from Dulles to New Orleans. It's your receipt. It's from Expedia.com. This goes on for an hour and a half with this jerk arguing with me. Finally, I got fed up and I said, that's it. Get me your supervisor now. That took 20 minutes. So now I'm almost to 2 hours, plus the hour and a half that I spent on Thursday, plus another 30 minutes that I spent with United telling me that I'm not booked on that flights. So all told, I'm at almost 4 hours. Finally, the supervisor gets on the phone and tells me the same thing. And I go through the shit. Excuse my French. I go through it all over again with the supervisor, who makes me send her another screenshot in sections all the way to the bottom of the receipt, which I did. And she says, well, now I've got to bring some other people in because I don't understand how we're showing this flight from Raleigh when it's this, the receipt you have shows that it's from Dulles. I said, that's where I booked the flight from. It's something screwed up in your system. And I paid for the tickets, and now you're saying that I don't have them. Would you believe it was another hour on the phone, which now has me up to 3 hours on Saturday, plus the hour and a half, it's 4.5, plus the 30 minutes with United. So I'm now up to 5 hours total trying to get their screw up fixed. And finally, the supervisor comes back and says, sorry, we have to refund your money because we can't fix it. I said, what? You're going to refund my money? Why can't you just erase the ticket and reissue the ticket thing with the correct information? Well, we can't do that. Well, why not? Because the system won't let us do that. So we're going to refund what money to me? I said, well, you paid the money you paid for the difference. I said, oh, no. Then I would lose the airline credit that I had to spend, which is why I booked the tickets with you to start with. Oh, well, I have to get approval for that. Well, you damn well better get approval. Get it right now. I'm expecting what I paid you plus the airline credit because I've got to turn right around and book the tickets all over again. Finally, they came back and agreed to that. And supposedly, I'm going to get all the money sent to me, of course, in 5 to 8 business days. Don't ever use Expedia, folks. Ever. I promise you, you're in for headaches. I'll be back after a word from one of our network sponsors, obviously not Expedia, with a couple stories from this morning. All right, before we get to the news, I do have a couple things to go over first. And I got my blood pressure back down to normal. All right, this is our buddy Bubba Schumart and the lovely Lynn. They are getting ready to sail on the New Amsterdam. I'll be on New Statendam on the 4th and the 11th. They're doing back-to-backs. And somewhere along in there, they are going to host a cocktail party for all the folks that follow Bubba's Drink of the Day on Holland America's fan page or whatever it is. Holland America. Fans of Holland America. Anyway, where Bubba posts the daily drink. All right. They're going to host a cocktail party for anybody that follows them on the website, which is up to like 40,000 people now. So there'll be a bunch of people on the ship. So good luck to Bubba and Lynn with their cocktail party. All right, the other one is from Hot Air Tom. I mean, this is to prove that Hot Air Tom is in Hawaii. I'm not sure where he was because none of that made sense to me. It was kind of broken up. But I mean, that's a nice waterfall. It looks lovely. He did say that on the ship that it was the smallest suite they've ever booked. That does look like a little tight for a suite. And that's looking out at the balcony, which is, again, that looks like a pretty narrow room for a suite. And looking back toward the door, well, that doesn't look a whole lot wider. I'm not sure I could get a scooter through that door. It would be, like the Carnival ship that was just barely cleared it. Of course, that just looks awful skinny to me. Now, the only thing that did look really nice on it was it looked like a lovely balcony. So, and I'm assuming that is their balcony. But anyway, I'm not 100% sure about that. I mean, that could have been Lynn sitting somewhere. I mean, Lynn. I've got Lynn on my brain now. That could be Cindy sitting somewhere else on the end of the ship. I don't know. But anyway, if that's their balcony, that was really nice. Now, here's the problem, folks, and I have to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, far be it from me to ever exaggerate anything with Hot Air Tom. I will say that this does not come from Hot Air Tom. This comes from other public sources. You know, he was talking about being at the luau the first night they were there. Well, the problem, as you can see here with the luau going on, that was pretty cool. Hot Air Tom tried to jump up on the stage, and the two guys in the skirts there, they escorted him rather roughly off the stage. Okay, they didn't want Hot Air Tom up there hula hooing or whatever you do with the hula dancing. So they escorted Hot Air Tom off the stage, and of course Cindy is sitting back there going, "I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Oh my God, I'm gonna kill him." And then Hot Air Tom, just to because of that and was embarrassed, he crawled up the damn tree and grabbed some coconuts and was throwing it at the hula dancers. That's the truth, folks. That's exactly what Hot Air Tom did over there in Hawaii on this trip. I'm sticking by it all the way. All right, do have a couple news stories this morning. In accordance with local restrictions and after discussion with local authorities, Cunard's cruise ship Queen Elizabeth has missed a scheduled visit to Bali due to a COVID outbreak on board. The ship is continuing on to Fremantle in Western Australia for debarkation. The ship sailed from Fremantle on November 7th on a 25-night itinerary that is due back on December 2nd. And by the way, folks, if you look at some of the reports of this, you'll see that they were saying it was 18 nights. No, it wasn't. It was 18 nights until the incident with Bali occurred, or 17 nights, whatever it was. It's a 25-night cruise that's due back December 2nd. She was supposed to visit Bali today, actually. Now, of course, today over there was way earlier because it's, it's on the other side of the date line. So it would have been, last night to us or whatever. Currently, Queen Elizabeth is sailing around Western Australia. Data indicates that she should return to Fremantle as early as Wednesday. No confirmed data is available on exactly how many guests on board are currently on board the current sailing have tested positive, but local authorities estimate it to be as many as 10 to 15% of the guests on board. That could mean 200 to 300 guests may have already tested positive, but no details have been released about their condition or if any guests need hospital care. Recently, an over-publicized outbreak on Majestic Princess. The vast majority of cases were either very mild or completely asymptomatic. Passengers on Queen Elizabeth who do test positive are required to isolate for 5 days and must return a negative rapid antigen test before being released from isolation. The tests are free, available to all guests, and close contacts of those that have tested positive are required to test daily. So that's what's going on with the Queen Elizabeth and another unfortunate COVID outbreak. I hope this one doesn't get blown out of proportion, as it probably will. I'm sorry, folks, but there's COVID probably now on every cruise ship. They know how to handle it on the ships. They know how to isolate people. If they decide they want you to wear a mask, wear masks. Don't argue. There's reasons for it. I mean, do I want to wear a mask on these next 2 cruises? Of course not. But if they tell me it's the mask are required, I'll wear it. Simple. All right. Wonder of the Seas has been in the news. It all started, actually, last Thursday. So that was, how many days ago was that? 4 or 5 days ago. Wonder of the Seas made her inaugural call to St. Kitts. Local officials boarded the vessel to perform the traditional plaque exchange between the ship and island authorities, and the event kicked off the season for St. Kitts and Nevis, who is preparing for one of its busiest seasons ever. After her call to St. Kitts, Wonder of the Seas set sail back to her home port in Port Canaveral. However, due to an emergency medical situation, the vessel was forced to turn around, retrace part of her route, and make an emergency stop in San Juan. Although the Oasis-class ship has a large medical center capable of providing at least primary medical care, those responsible on board and at Royal Caribbean's head office decided on Friday that the vessel would need to divert to San Juan. As a result, Wonder of the Seas arrived in Port Canaveral this morning about 4 a.m. rather than yesterday morning, which means all the guests that were supposed to sail yesterday were notified that their sailing was delayed by a day, and they had to scramble for different air flights or hotel accommodations for an extra day or whatever. And everybody on board Wonder of the Seas. Now, remember, this is a big ship, folks, that can hold like 6,500 passengers. I have no idea what the passenger count was on either cruise, so don't take that as gospel. But the people that were supposed to get off yesterday, now we're getting off until today. So all of their air accommodations yesterday were changed, and they had to change them. So this medical emergency, and my hats go off to Royal Caribbean because they felt it was urgent enough to do this. But my goodness, look at all the people that got put out because of it. At any rate, with the delay, the ship will now visit Coco Cay on the 29th. That would be tomorrow. Falmouth in Jamaica on December 1st, and Labadee, Haiti on December 2nd. The original call, which was supposed to be today in Nassau in the Bahamas, has been completely canceled. If guests decide not to sail due to the delay, Royal Caribbean is offering 100% future cruise credit. Guests who decide to sail will receive the value of 1 day of the cruise fare as a refundable onboard credit. In other words, they can use it. If they don't use it, then they get the money back on their credit card. Plus, they'll receive prorated refundable onboard credit for any pre-cruise packages purchased, including Royal Up. If guests pre-purchased any Royal Caribbean International Shore excursions for Nassau, they will be refunded as refundable onboard credit as well. So, Wonder of the Seas was in the news for a good thing for St. Kitts, and then on the way back, a medical emergency on board, and the decision was made for them to reverse course to get into San Juan. And of course, the person was immediate, or I don't know if immediate or not, but it was transferred to a hospital. They were Friday evening before they set sail again back to Port Canaveral, and that was when it was determined that they couldn't get back till a day late. So that's a recap of Wonder of the Seas. All right, severe weather system yesterday and today and possibly tomorrow, moving into the Pacific Northwest, caused delays and headaches for millions of travelers across the U.S. As of last night, more than 6,000 flights into, out of, or within the U.S. were delayed, according to FlightAware, and more than 170 flights were completely canceled. The large storm system caused trouble on one of the busiest travel days of the year, as many people tried to fly back from their Thanksgiving destinations. The Storm Prediction Center has issued an early forecast warning calling for a significant severe weather event in the south, which could affect more than 25 million people tomorrow from eastern Texas to southern Indiana. Sorry about that, folks. All right, let's jump over and see who's in the chat room. Sonny's with us. Good morning, Sonny. Wow. Amy's here. Hi, Amy. Robert's with us bright and early. 30 and a wake up. Good to see you again. Glad you're with us bright and early. Sonny's saying hi. Dennis is with us. Hi, Dennis. Everybody speaking back and forth. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up, folks. Yes, folks, we always appreciate that. Thank you, Kevin. I do appreciate that. Amy says, always do what's best for you. We all work around schedules as best we can. Thank you, Amy. I just wanted to make it as clear as I could. Nikki's with us. Hi, Nikki. Almost forgot, but here I am. Glad you're with us, Nick. Make sure you go back and catch the first few minutes, as there were several announcements. The main part of it is that Thursday show will probably be live about 6:30, and there will be no Cruise Amigos Thursday afternoon. That summed up the main part of it. That's a fantastic sponsorship. Yeah, it's not it's not like I was making any money from it, but it's saving me some money. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the deal. And hopefully this is going to work out to something beyond just these cruises, but we'll wait and see. Oh, good. We've been sex bombed again. Jason must not be with us. Block user. Done. Okay, Expedia. I could have told you that 20 years ago. Always use Kayak to compare airfares, hotels, and car hires, then book directly. Never use third party. I'm learning. Yeah, I learned the hard way. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start dealing direct with them when I fly. So anyway, yeah, and I like using Kayak so you can get rates and stuff. That's helpful as well. Merde would be French. Yes, it would. They didn't ask you to forward the email confirmation. No, they would not give me an email address. So the first time I did it on the chat, and then the second time they sent me a virtually like an email, only I didn't get the email address. It was, one of those things where I had to click on a link and then add to it, and then it went to them, but there was no information as to their email address. So anyway, that's how they got the stupid thing on Saturday. Amy says, I think a lot of the customer service rep from online travel sites like Expedia and the cruise lines are inexperienced and poorly trained. They lost so many experienced workers during the shutdown. Yeah, I can appreciate that. The problem was the supervisors still couldn't fix the issue. So if the bosses can't do it, how can the new guys ever learn anything? And I still can't believe they couldn't just erase the ticket before and reissue it with the correct information. That just makes no sense to me. Then it says that's a standard veranda stateroom layout on Disney Cruise Line. Oh, okay. But he is on the Hawaii ship, the Norwegian Hawaii ship. That became my brain's I'm having a brain fart this morning. Anyway, the one that does the Hawaii Islands cruises. It's Norwegian. And Kenneth's with us. He said, that's a point. Tom, good job. I think that's funny. As I've said, without continued pre-embarkation testing at the port, it's just going to be Typhoid Mary's on board wondering about. I agree with that. I've said all along, I had no problem at all with them testing me. I had no problem at all with me having to do a pre-cruise test. I wouldn't mind continuing to do that. I mean, I felt a lot more comfortable when I knew that everybody on board was tested, and was negative. So I know that's changed now for everybody. Rich is with us. The most recent wonder sailing was less than great. Couldn't dock at Coco due to high winds. That's what I heard. Arrived in Florida 21 hours late due to the medical emergency. Only 2 ports and 8 nights. Yep. It was a rough outing for Wonder. $800 cases on the Majestic was alarming. Yeah, it was 800 cases out of 3,800, I think it was. So, say close to 4,080. 800 cases was about 30%, 32%, something like that. I'm not, that's just doing math in my head. And yes, I agree. That was alarming. Also, these were early cruises in Australia. They had not been through the, almost year and a half that, out of the U.S., we got a lot better on the cruise ships. So, who knows? You think that some of those ships had at least been in U.S. water, so maybe the problem was coming from Australia as the people got on board and had nothing to do with the cruise ships. So, anyway, that's, a possibility. 3 days and a wake up until my 16-day Panama Canal cruise on Ruby Princess. Super excited. Well, we're expecting lots of pictures from your travels, my friend, which I will steal and use like I have. I promise I won't make fun of you like I make fun of Hot Air Tom. Hot Air Tom is just such good fodder for me saying silly stuff. So at any rate, I won't do that to you. Chillie, don't forget to read the comments from your videos from Casco. 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 Yeah, I always go back and pick those up. Mared, like scared. Mared. Okay. I appreciate it, Dennis. Big Island is spewing ash from the volcano. Tom and Cindy aren't too close to the Big Island. Well, they might be. Yeah, he's on NCL, but that stateroom layout is not a suite on Disney as considered a standard veranda stateroom on Disney. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Permission to use whatever you want. Thank you. I do appreciate that. The Pride of America. There you go. Thank you, Kenneth. Lord, I can't believe I had such a total brain lock. Okay, Dennis says, Oh, Francesca. Oh, yeah, Francesca. Not case. Yeah, okay. Francesca. And I've got all my little, my little things now when I see a word that I can try to figure it out. So just keep correcting me. I do appreciate it. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. I've got to get everything processed and up so I can get to the stupid pulmonologist and get the results of that echocardiogram. I'll be on as normal times tomorrow and Wednesday, and then, Thursday, everything's going to be fouled up. I'll be live at 6:30-ish, and then, no, Cruise Amigos, and all the other things that I announced. So that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. Got a lot to do and a lot of places to go. So anyway, as always, folks, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day. See everybody tomorrow morning back at the normal time of 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.